On a day I prepared this speech, 338,000 nonviolent American prisoners of the war on drugs are locked in a cage designed for the violent. On a day I drove to Dallas to be interviewed on national television, these same prisoners agonized over the separation from their mothers, fathers, children, siblings, and friends. On a day I traveled to the University of North Texas for this conference, these same prisoners were on constant alert to avoid being attacked by the violent inmates in or near their prison cells. On a day I stand before you to deliver this speech, I become the voice of those 330,000 inmates and their millions of family members affected by the tragedy of having a loved one snatched from their home and imprisoned. I am their voice, and I will only say to you what they would scream across this land if given the chance that I've got. And I will only say to you the truth as formed by facts and evidence, not beliefs and opinions. We must end this war on our people and stop allowing Americans to lock each other in cages that were created for child molesters, rapists, and murderers. I'm not soft on crime. I'm just hard on unjustified punishments handed out daily to nonviolent drug offenders. If you want to learn the truth about the Vietnam War, ask my father, a Vietnam vet. If you want to learn the truth about the Iraqi War, ask my brother, a third-time touring veteran. If you want to learn the truth about the war on drugs, listen to me. I was a frontline soldier in our country's 30-year-long war against its citizens, and I'm qualified to explain to you the truth and speak of matters avoided by most politicians. Marijuana was made illegal in 1937 after former Assistant Alcohol Prohibition Commissioner Harry Anslinger, often labeled the father of the war on drugs, took over the newly formed Federal Bureau of Narcotics, later known as the DEA.
The Treasury Department intends to pursue a relentless warfare against the despicable dope-peddling vulture who preys on the weakness of his fellow man.
Anslinger says, there are 100,000 total marijuana smokers in the U.S., and most are Negroes, Hispanics, Filipinos, and entertainers. Their satanic music, jazz, and swing result from marijuana use. This marijuana causes white women to seek sexual relations with Negroes, entertainers, and others. The primary reason to outlaw marijuana is its effect on the degenerate races. He continues, marijuana is an addictive drug which produces in its users insanity, criminality, and death.
Blake Baxter. I know what you want. You want to kill me.
In this case, the state waives trial of the defendant, Ralph Wiley. It is convinced that he is hopelessly and incurably insane, a condition caused by the drug marijuana to which he was addicted. It is recommended, Your Honor, that the defendant be placed at an institution for the criminally insane for the rest of his natural life.
I see no reason why the request should not be granted.
These racial and ignorant statements were made by the government of yesterday, and the unjust laws created from these words are being enforced by the government of today. Some have said our prisons are comparable to country clubs. I'm here to tell you that behind the walls of these so-called country clubs lies the worst spirit of depression ever imagined. Behind the walls of these country clubs, our daughters are suffering the indignity of being strip searched on a daily basis. Our fathers have no privacy during shower or toilet time. Our friends and family are subject to constant abuse from certain prison guards that belong in prison themselves. Our sons are in constant fear of being shanked or even raped. Let me announce to you today that these locations housing our citizens are not country clubs, but dungeons. And they may be the place for the violent predators of this land. But they are absolutely and positively not the place for the docile marijuana users of this nation. Stand to your feet. Pot smokers do not belong in jail. Pull them loose. Get them out of the cages. Pick your signs up and tell America, no longer will we go to jail for pot. Any person who is even the slightest bit informed knows what the conscience of our nation is saying. The conscience of our nation is saying, stop these unreasonable arrests. The conscience of our nation is saying, let us be free. The conscience of our nation is saying, release our nonviolent prisoners of war and allow them to return to their families. Let's re-examine our unjustified drug laws. Because the criminal side effects of going to jail and prison are worse than the side effects of the drug themselves. Yeah. This is not 1957. This is 2007. The evidence is clear. Marijuana is much safer than alcohol. In fact, I'll go as far to say marijuana is safe. And when my kids get to the age they start experimenting with substances, I would rather them smoke pot instead of drink, because at least I know they'll live through the pot smoking experience. It is impossible to overdose to the point of death on marijuana, in case you didn't know that. 5,000 years of recorded use of marijuana, not one single death from overdose.
Mom smokes like a chimney. And you have a drink every day and smoke too.
Not the same.
Why not? It's easy for you to stand there with a cigarette in one hand and a drink in another and tell us not to blow pot.
Yet our government trained me that it was an evil drug, and the people smoking it and dealing it and smuggling it were evil people. And trust me, I was very intimidating when I crashed in your door with the 45. I destroyed families. It's not just a college student catching a pot case. It's not just the banker losing his job because he peed dirty for marijuana. That's not what this is about. 750,000 people per year have their lives ruined because they're in possession of a plant.